Any sort of movement requires energy. The way in which the body creates energy are determined by the length and exertion level of the activity that someone does. Anything that requires a short, sharp burst of energy, like sprinting, needs the body to use large amounts of energy in a very short amount of time. While sports such as endurance cycling require continual energy production over a large period at a slow rate, it is the energy system of your body that facilitates these processes. The body's ability to get food energy via food and take it over to the contractile proteins in the muscles is what decides a person's capacity to exercise at different intensities and for different amounts of time. The body's main supply of constant energy is via the use of ATP. ATP is made up of one adenine and three different phosphate groups. It is made in the reaction amongst adenosine diphosphate, ADP, and a phosphate. ATP is a strong molecule that is used for many things. The energy is stored in the chemical bonds found in the molecules. When this bond is broken, energy is released, and when a bond is made, energy is stored. When ADP connects itself with another phosphate, the energy is then stored so it can be released later. When ATP is mixed with water, the last group will be split off and energy will be released via ATP hydrolysis. The body's energy system can function either anaerobically or aerobically. Energy is needed to allow the muscle fibers to contract. This energy is gained via the oxidation of food, in particular carbohydrates, which are broken down into glucose. If it isn't required by the body straight away, it is turned into glycogen, which is stored in the liver and muscles. Fat, broken down to form free fatty acids. These will eventually be burned in the muscle cells. This is when ATP is formed. When this is broken down, it gives muscles energy which are needed for contractions. Only the molecule is used to supply the muscle fibers with energy. It is done in three ways: via the creatine phosphate energy system, the lactic acid energy system, and the aerobic energy system. The atp-pc system is made when ATP and phosphocreatine combine. It is the first energy system the body uses when energy is needed. Creatine phosphate, PCR, is a higher energy compound made of C4H10N3O5 and P1. When exercising, the energy need is immediate. So the PCR stored in the muscles is used to provide the energy, which comes from the splitting of the link between the second and third phosphate molecule in ATP. When the energy from PCR is dismantled, the energy it releases is used to fuel these muscular contractions. But the muscles' store of ATP only amounts for about 2 to 3 seconds of contraction, after which it must be resynthesized, which is done via three reactions: CRP plus ADP plus H plus, catalyzed by creatine kinase, forming ATP and CR, which is made of C-reactive protein plus adenosine diphosphate plus hydrogen, creatine kinase being the catalyst. This produces adenosine diphosphate plus chromium. Next, two ADPs catalyzed by adenylate kinase, forming ADP plus AMP, which is made of two adenosine diphosphate molecules. Adenylate kinase is the catalyst and produces adenosine triphosphate plus adenosine monophosphate plus AMP plus H plus, catalyzed by AMP deamase, giving IMP plus NH4 plus, which is made of adenosine monophosphate plus hydrogen, AMP deminimize being the catalyst, producing iodine monophosphate plus ammonium. We'll now explain these terms. C-reactive protein, a protein found in the blood and stored in the liver. Adenosine diphosphate, made via the hydrolysis of ATP after the release of energy, turned back into ATP via the metabolic pathway of oxidative phosphorylation. Hydrogen, a gaseous element. Creatine kinase, an enzyme that acts as the catalyst for the reversible reaction of the phosphate from phosphocreatine to ADP. Adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency of the body. Chromium, a chemical element. Adenylate kinase, also known as ADK. It is an enzyme that catalyzes the reaction between two ADP, forming ATP plus AMP. Adenosine monophosphate, a nucleotide. This is one of the building blocks of the body. AMP deminimize, an enzyme that turns AMP into IMP. Iodine monophosphate, a nucleotide which is created when the organic compound is removed from adenosine. Ammonium, a chemical element. The first two reactions I have mentioned both resynthesize ADP, but creatine kinase has a much larger capacity to regenerate ATP than adenylate kinase. The final reaction, AMP demise, doesn't resynthesize ATP, but is included in the phosphate system as having knowledge of bioengenetics. Shows that the conversion of AMP to IMP is vital in aiding the retention of a larger phosphate transfer potential, which is a form of cellular energy transformation. In any muscle that has the capacity to sustain, adequate free energy released while completing ATP hydrolysis, which is when water is used to split ATP to form ADP, which creates adequate energy so the muscle may contract. Every activity depends on the phosphocreatine energy system. Some examples being shot put, discus, and jumping, which all require short, intense muscular contractions. It has long been thought that the first 10 seconds of ATP regeneration in exercise were done solely by the ATP-PR system. This is shown as creatine phosphate is found in the systole. This is a liquid in a cell which is in close proximity to the energy sites. Phosphocreatine hydrolysis does not rely on the available oxygen. The phosphate system is important because of the extremely rapid rate it can regenerate ATP. When doing exercise, the energy gained from the phosphate system is used for around 10 seconds until the body's CRP stores are depleted. This is due to the exponential path of decay that the phosphocreatine system corruption degradation is shown to follow, which shows the system's energy capacity relies on the amount of CRP of creatine phosphate available to it. Many sports like football require more than one repeated period of demanding exercise, which have gaps of either passive or active recovery. In football, this is mainly passive, which means the speed of creatine phosphate recovery kinetics also must be understood to know the role the creatine phosphate system plays in sports. An athlete's ability to recover their CRP stores over and over again so they may produce maximal energy output has a massive effect on the athlete's performance, as if they cannot replenish their stores quickly or efficiently enough, performance is effective and the prize they are competing for may be lost. This system is used in sports like basketball, when a player starts dribbling the ball towards the defense's basket, because the attacker will be using their maximal output for over 10 seconds. For 10 seconds or under, so that uses the ATP energy system. Gymnastics. When a gymnast does a move like the Amnar vault, which requires maximal output, so the ATP-PR system is used to get the ATP to the muscles so they may contract quickly. Hockey. This system accounts for around 50% of energy used. Plays in